Welcome to Fire Your Doctor with Dr. Danielle Lockwood.
Ooh, and Richard Lockwood.
Don't hit the microphone. So anyway, welcome back. What are you telling us about today?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about, I love this title, bugs, bloat, and body fat. Boom. I love an alliteration.
No, it's a 3 out of 4 alliteration. I'm just like, body fat, like maybe
bugs,
that's like
bloat.
one.
I just needed the B. So
I know, I need one more body, it's over. It's over.
Body. Okay.
Well, I'll thesaurus it later. And okay.
Yes. So it's actually talking about, we're going to talk about the connection in the microbiome. We're really starting to get into the microbiome. In our book, Fire Your Doctor, we have 3 different chapters dedicated to the microbiome because it's everything.
Can you define microbiome for people?
Yes. It is the makeup of bacteria, fungi, viruses that are growing in your gut. And actually, we got to quote.
And on your body.
And on your body. We have different areas, different microbiomes. Think of them like terrariums. Think of them like...
Terrarium.
Yes, terrarium. Thank you.
Yeah.
Terrariums. What am I thinking of? The Biodome from back in the 90s.
What was that awful movie with Pauly Shore?
Pauly Shore. Shout out to people who grew up in the 90s.
Oh, no.
No, but what was the actual one? What was the actual one that they did in Arizona?
Biosphere 2.
Biosphere 2. Thank you, my nerdy husband. So, but it's a micro environment in a specific area of your body. So, for example, you could have certain bacteria that really love to be in your gut versus certain bacteria that love to be in your mouth versus your eyes versus your ears versus other parts of your body.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some of those, we're not labeling those bacteria as good or bad. I think when we talked about the war on germs, the default position of a modern American is germs are bad, let's kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
But that might actually bring us to the quote. I don't want to step on the bit.
Yeah, let's.
Are you going to read it or you want me to?
Here, it is on page. Here, if you can open it up for me.
Okay.
Page 84.
Okay, I'll be
of
like
Fire Your Doctor in the paperback.
Oh, page 84 of Fire Your Doctor. Well, who wrote that book? That sounds cool.
A really handsome gentleman. A gentleman and a scholar.
Oh, well.
And his lovely bride.
Wait, that's you. No, okay, wait, 84?
84.
Okay. Well.
84. Yep,
Quote
perfect.
one.
Yep. Each human, and then all the way to here. Yep.
Each human body, made up of roughly 30 to 37.2 trillion cells, also hosts about 39 trillion microorganisms. Truth really is stranger than fiction. By cell count, you are more microbe than human. Yet when we think about health, we rarely consider the vast community of bacteria and fungi living inside of us. When I bring this up with patients, I often hear, "But doctor, it's okay, I take probiotics." We only think of microbes when they make us sick. We call those germs. You are one person trying to make peace with the 39 trillion microbes living in and on you. Most Americans have taken antibiotics in their lifetime and eat at least some processed foods. How many trillion microbes did the antibiotic kill off? So what this means is when we count up the cells in your body that are human cells,
Mm-hmm.
the research is showing that there might even be more microbe or germ cells in you and on you than there are you. And so to view yourself as only human cells is kind of an overly simplistic view.
Yep. I said this. Your microbiome is a whole lot of you. And a whole lot of not you.
Yeah. And so in this way, these germs, these microbes are part of us.
Yes. So when we're talking about this environment, this terrarium, ding, like a biosphere,
Yeah.
too. Not the bio.
You don't want me to do a history on Biosphere 2.
Bless you.
Well, that's how they paid off the Biosphere 2 program. They were just like, what are we going to do with this giant?
We got to make a movie.
We got to make some dumb movie.
Call Pauly Shore. He needs something to do.
He'll be offensive.
Yes, it'll be good. So why... I'm off topic. But let's see. If we have a healthy microbiome, we get a lot of really high level communication. So as we start to go through the levels of microbiome, we're going to tell you how important it is to have that beautiful landscape, that terrain. That's why our company is called Terrain Wellness, actually. Terrain. We want that landscape of the body to be a body that doesn't like to grow things like cancer. You know, it doesn't like to get heart disease. It doesn't like those things. It's in balance.
Right. So in this terrain analogy, the cells in me that are biologically human would be like the dirt and the rocks and the physical geography. Like here's a hill, there's a mountain, there's a river. The kind of microbiome would be the plants and animals and that would live. Soil's interesting because when you say soil, you also mean soil's microbiome.
Yeah.
But to keep it simple, it would be that your microbiome is literally anything living that lives in that terrain.
Yeah.
That's not you.
Yeah. And it does so many things, and it's so necessary for the balance of health. And we're learning more and more and more about that. And so we're going to take you through that.
But you're right that soil is actually alive. It's
alive. And anybody who's a gardener, which I am a gardening enthusiast. Don't look at me like that. I'm a gardening enthusiast.
She is where plants go to die. They are loved when they die, but they still die.
There are a few that I have kept for a few years.
No, I know. I still love
Succulents are not one of them. I'm actually the worst at succulents, which everybody's like, those are so easy to take care of. No, I do good with the elephant ear ones, and anyway,
fake
whatever.
Plants.
Fake plants. Shut up.
No, I love you.
I'm literally looking at my dead garden box right here. So
it has a completely different microbiome living in it now. They're called weeds.
Okay. Okay.
No. All right, let's go.
So seriously,
we got content to cover.
What gardeners will tell me is that the soil really matters. Yeah. So depending on what kind of plant you want to put in there, you want to put a specific type of soil in there.
Yes.
It has certain nutrients and certain nitrogens and certain this and certain that.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with your gut. You want a balance of specific types of bacteria and spore bacteria, which are we'll talk about those spore biotics.
Okay.
And you want a certain pH in there, and you want a certain number of fluid in there. It's just about that balance of how things are in that gut. That's the soil.
And then what we're feeding it to.
And then what we're feeding it to keep that alive. So it's a very similar analogy. That's why I'm good at getting guts to grow healthy things, just not plants.
Poop?
Yes. I'm very good at getting poop to be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's go on. Sorry.
God has gifted me with certain skills.
I'm having too much fun here. We gotta be serious.
So why simply popping a probiotic won't do it? It's almost, we talked about this on another episode when we talked about antibiotics. It's kind of a slap in the face. It's like the biodiversity of your gut. And then it's like, just take some yogurt. It's just, it'll make it better. And it's like, no, you've wiped it out and then you've replaced it with maybe one or two of these good species, but you're really not hitting that biodiversity.
Right. It's like, well, I guess there was a nuclear bomb that went off. Let's just throw a couple deer out there and we're just going to have nothing but deer. And it's like, what are the deer going to eat?
Yeah.
There's no grass. There's no squirrels. There's no this. There's no that. There's no wolves to manage the deer population. Yep. And so when we look at that, you could have a gut microbiome that has been in your family line for hundreds or thousands of years.
Yep.
And then that's going to have an interaction with you and help your specific family line digest the foods that are traditional and common in your family line. And now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, but I ate some yogurt and I took a probiotic. And it's like, so we've replaced that culture. And I mean that in both ways, that culture and that tradition of all of these, microbes that are specific to you and your family and your family line, and replace them with like kind of a generic monocrop that you just kind of got from the store.
Yep. And we're going to keep emphasizing that.
What could go wrong?
Because we're going to talk about, when we talk about, in a couple episodes, we're going to talk about rethinking how that is, because we got to go backwards to go forwards and understand, okay, what does a microbiome look like from people who aren't eating processed foods, which is how we should be eating. So we're going to talk about that later. So
later episode.
And then I'm going to give you one little note here about leaky gut. So this is a term, typically you're going to hear it very commonly within naturopathic communities. It sounds weird. I think it's an easy way to describe this inflammatory process that happens in the lining of the gut due to processed foods and your body actually going and kind of attacking the gut lining in some cases.
Right.
And it causes the cells to get kind of enlarged, and it allows food that should normally stay in the gut to pass into the main body cavity, which then seems like a foreign object. And then your immune system starts attacking it as if it's like a virus or something, or bacteria. And now all of a sudden you can't eat bananas.
Right. So to give you an example, like leaky gut, it seems like a little bit, how's that even possible? But that semipermeable membrane, like I want, let's say, or maybe I don't want, but like it or not, sugar is going to be able to cross that membrane. So it's like I want poop over there, and then sugar is okay. And that can go inside the body and into my bloodstream, right? Mm-hmm. However, I might not want, let's give me an example, like
you don't really want any food to go into your bloodstream.
A soluble fiber, for example, like you wouldn't want that to go into your bloodstream.
You wouldn't even want
cellulose or...
You wouldn't even want like steak to go in your bloodstream. You want the breakdown of the body making amino acids to go into your, you know what I mean? So you don't want because then you're going to hyper react to every time I have beef, I get a rash.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at though, is that we're not talking about literally huge kind of visible chunks of this undigested food going into your bloodstream. What I'm talking about would be maybe the amino acids are supposed to be broken down this much. And now they are just broken down maybe 90% of the way, but not quite.
Yep.
And all of a sudden now you have just kind of this random protein floating around.
There's a phenomenon called molecular mimicry. Molecular mimicry. I don't know if we talked about it in the book. However, it basically means there are two cells that have a very similar molecular makeup that the body sees and goes, oh, wow, this almost looks like...
You mean more like a chemical compound?
Yes.
Not like a cell. Okay.
I'm trying to make it layman without getting... So yeah, thank you for translating, because... I want to make this clear. So, for example, we see this a lot with, for example, the protein from wheat, gluten.
Yes.
We'll see that mimicking it. It's when you look at the structures, part of the structures and enzymes inside your thyroid molecules, like your cells in your thyroid, and gliadin, right? That protein that's in the gluten, in the wheat, will look very similar. And so there's one theory that's why when people have a reaction to gluten, they need to get off of it because it can cause other inflammatory processes. For example, it can start to damage thyroid function. So in the hypo and hyperthyroid community, in the Hashimoto's and Graves communities, they talk about the importance of avoiding wheat because they have a similar molecular structure that then the body starts attacking itself because it thinks it's the wheat.
Right.
Okay, so that would be an example. I don't know if that's 100% true. I will say that there are certain subsets of the population that do really well when you get those inflammatory type foods out of the system, at least temporarily, until we can bring down inflammation loads and repair the gut lining. Okay. So let's talk about poop. It's my favorite subject. I talk a lot of poop at work. But I want to tell you what healthy digestion is. I'm going to describe it to you. I described it in the book. It's on page 85. And
Yeah.
let's talk about this. So, before discussing what can go wrong in our gut microbiome, let's discuss what a healthy gut looks like. Imagine a world where you have regular bowel movements, at least once or twice a day. There's no straining to poop, there's no gas, there's no bloated belly after eating. There's no undigested food, blood, or mucus in the toilet when you poop. Your poop comes out like a long, easily passed snake that often sinks to the bottom. Not too hard and not too soft. You easily wipe with no stickiness, no pain. You flush the toilet. You wash your hands, and your bowel movement is so uneventful that you forget about it. Mission complete. Why am I describing this? This is actually very rare. This is very rare. Why is it rare? Well, it's rare because of all the junk food we eat.
That can't be it. We need to keep studying.
We need to keep studying. I want to keep eating my junk food.
Yeah.
Right? And we've also bombed our guts with antibiotics over the years. So
Right.
our microbiome is an absolute disaster.
Yes.
So, they all go hand in hand. But I wanted to describe that because we often talk about what's wrong with the gut, but we never actually talk about what's right. This is what it should be. This is normal. And I always make a distinction between what's normal versus what's common. What's common is constipation, loose stools, itchiness, not happy, sometimes I poop, I've got a lot of gas. Like that's common, but that's not normal.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, especially in our patient population, I think that the people where life's just working for them perfectly, like I might not see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. And that's why bowel movements and the type of bowel movements is one of your primary clues that something's off. Okay. Well, why don't you is there anything more about that you wanted to cover?
Well, just healthy digestion, but also let's just talk about good. We touched on this, but good bacteria versus bad bacteria.
Yeah.
Not the whole story.
Okay. Yes.
You got something to say about that?
A ton.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but just for example, that I don't know if you remember in the 90s and in the 80s, like kind of growing up, we had all of these kind of food scares about like E. coli. And so it just got into my mind. You hear on the news, somebody died of E. coli poisoning or just whatever. And then as you're reading some of these medical books and the literature, you're just like E. coli, E. coli, E. coli. And you're just like, we're kind of supposed to have E. coli, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes.
So this is kind of kicking off good versus bad bacteria. Of course, there's a lot more that I could say about that. Like, I mean, isn't it like that a very large percentage of the what would classify as like not ill population would also even have like candida?
Yes.
Like, was it 50 or 60%? Or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But
also H. pylori, which is like the number one cause of ulcers, or it's, that type of thing.
Right. So I guess this would be like an example of like, how do we classify like in the garden, let's go back to the vegetable garden. What is a weed? If you live in the Pacific Northwest, like we do, Himalayan blackberries, most people just call them blackberry bushes, and they are a scourge and they will grow everywhere. And it's kind of like nature's barbed wire. It's just everywhere and it's terrible. They're actually an invasive species that was introduced when this area was settled. And apparently in England, where they're from, they just kind of grow like a regular plant and people just love the berries and they make jam out of it. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Oregon or Southwest Washington, you say blackberries, anybody that's had land is going to look at you like this is a scourge and a curse. Whereas, and
it's also cursing the land because everybody's spraying Roundup on it.
Yeah, that's a whole
soil,
which is bad for your gut microbiome. Which is and so, but the point is though is that in its original environment where blackberries were actually native, it was like, well, this is a great plant. I'm going to put them in a little hedgerow, and they're just going to be perfect. And I'm going to pick the berries, and we're all going to do British things.
British things. Shout out to British people.
Yeah.
Oi. I don't know.
I don't know. That's more Italian. I don't know. Whatever.
Hello.
What is this? We're doing so.
I can actually do a good British accent. I'm just embarrassed.
We just
to do
haven't seen it.
Ah! Oh no.
No, I love you. I love
English
you.
ivy. That's another British plant.
Oh, you're
But
right.
English ivy is very invasive. It almost took down the fence at our other house, our old house.
Yeah. And what is it? Forest Park. There's like almost entire fir trees that are getting killed like
Killed
old
by the
growth trees that are just
English
being
ivy.
choked out by this ivy.
Chip, chip, cheerio. That wasn't bad.
I love you. No,
Hello. Okay.
right.
Anyway, so
Good versus bad.
yes, absolutely. And so yeah, it's very nuanced. It's really just about balance.
Right.
It's about balance. So we don't want any E. coli ruling the roost, but there's going to be some E. coli in your
Right.
poop. You want, there's certain ones that you really like to see because they tell you that the gut lining is intact, right? There's certain ones that you don't want to see because if they're there, they can cause a lot of inflammatory signals and cause your immune system to develop autoimmune.
But even those are somewhat adaptive because
Correct.
some of these really pro-inflammatory ones are the type of gut microbes that you would need if you were going to eat, say, French fries for every meal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, are they bad? Yes, they're bad for you in terms of increasing inflammation, increasing weight gain, putting you on kind of a metabolic syndrome path, leaky gut, all of that. But if you were on a deserted island and all you had was McDonald's French fries, you would kind of need some of those bad gut bacterias to
Survive.
digest that type of food.
Yeah, true.
So,
You are what you eat. That's a great saying.
yeah,
It's true.
That's fun.
I want one little nuanced point that I
Okay,
was
go.
thinking about. And then I want to talk about how your gut bacteria makes you fat.
Make your point.
Okay. Now I forgot my point.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay. It was about leaky gut. Oh, glyphosate.
Oh, yeah, Roundup and invasive species.
Yes, glyphosate is awful for your gut lining because you need a lot of the amino acid glycine. You also need it to repair joints. You need glycine to repair joints.
Oh, okay.
So a golfer who comes in and tells me that his knees hurt, I'm like, oh, you probably are full of glyphosate because you're out on that pretty green lawn with no weeds that's been sprayed over and over again to make it beautiful, right? But you're also being exposed to Roundup, aka glyphosate, which has been shown, there's legal cases for it, that it causes types of cancer. We have a lurker in the background.
It's okay. Let's just...
Ooh.
No, don't kick the camera. Let's just power through.
Yeah, so glyphosate, and that is actually one of the ways when we're trying to repair a gut lining, we need to seal it up and we need to make sure they're not having those glyphosate exposures. So we might actually have to use a binder or an agent that pulls out the glyphosate.
Right.
So oats,
Yeah, and I think that
oatmeal. Ugh.
oats have a lot of a lot of glyphosate. And so I think that's like just part of this principle that we're seeing over and over again that, I mean, there's no free lunch.
So glyphosate.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about that more, but it's a huge one. I look for it a lot. Good bacteria versus bad bacteria. Your gut bacteria make you fat.
Well, that's pretty cool.
There's a quote on page 88. Can you read it? Richard Lockwood.
Yes. I can read it. Do you want me to?
Do, please.
All right, fine.
Do read.
Are germs making us fat? Sort of. More precisely, imbalanced dietary choices caused an overgrowth of gut microbes that altered our gene expression, leading to obesity, inflammation, and autoimmune conditions.
Great summary. That's what's going on. So are there certain bacteria that overgrow in the gut that are related to obesity? Yes, there are. And there's a ton of research about that.
So what we're seeing is it's almost like you're building a house. You're building a house that is resulting in or you're building a terrain. You're building a terrain that may have the outcome of unwanted weight gain. But that terrain is not just so simple as the mathematics equation of calories in, weight stays. There's also the factor of these gut microbes are going to create an environment that is conducive to increased inflammation, slowed metabolism, lower energy, and less of your body's ability to burn fat, essentially.
Yes, absolutely. And we see, coming back to the toxin picture, if you're carrying excess fat, fat is a storage house for toxins as well.
Yes.
And so you will, by the nature of accumulating that, sometimes your body starts accumulating it because it needs a place to put those toxins. So it's
Yes.
They all kind of feed into each other. It's a reflection of that.
Yes.
That
My
being
food
said,
choices-
certain amount of fat on the body is important.
Yeah.
You need to, it's insulating you, it's cushioning falls, it's energy storage.
Well, one of the things you pointed out when we met, I was actually really lean and very into like athletics. And one of the things you pointed out was these fats and cholesterols were very much needed to make hormones. And if you're a man, and especially a man who's athletic, you want testosterone. And you were like, well, hey, listen, if you're too lean and you're too starved of fats and particularly cholesterol, you're going to start losing, number one, lowering your testosterone, and then number two, myelination for nerves.
Central nervous system. Yeah. And all hormones require the backbone of cholesterol.
Yeah.
All hormones. So thyroid hormones, we see a lot of hypothyroid or underactive thyroid in athletes.
Yeah.
A lot.
One, like every cell has a phospholipid bilayer.
Yes, cells.
There's your test question.
Right. Thank you.
So yeah, making that membrane that is, separating the inside the cell from outside the cell.
Absolutely.
Okay, so good bacteria versus bad bacteria.
Yes, we did
covered
talk about that. Okay, your bad teeth and gums can cause cancer, heart disease, and much more. We got a quote. Can you turn to 91 for me? Page 91.
Yes, I will. All right.
And, if you read the book and if you know me, I was a dental hygienist for many years. And so I saw a lot of trends. I know a lot about the mouth. Shout out to all my dental folks. And so of course, I have research in here about the oral microbiome. So really good. You want to read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oral bacterial overgrowth disrupts gut flora, leading to systemic diseases. For example, a bacteria commonly found in periodontal infection, P. gingivalis, is a bacteria that has acid resistance. If allowed to increase, this bacteria has been shown to resist the stomach's acid and take over the digestive tract. Once there, it has been shown to colonize and may be connected to cancer development. P. gingivalis can be implicated in precancerous gastric and colon lesions, esophageal squamous cell carcinoma, head and neck, larynx, throat, lip, mouth, salivary glands, carcinoma, and pancreatic cancer. So this is something that I think you talk about elsewhere in the book, maybe even some of the gut health one, or no, not gut health, but digestion. Mm-hmm. The acidity of the stomach is there to kill off germs and things like that you do not want in your gut microbiome.
Correct.
So what you're saying is that gingivalis actually resists that acid, and that if we swallow it in large enough numbers, based on like having tooth and gum infections, that we're actually, by extension, infecting our entire digestive tract with this thing that is going to be resistant to the stomach acid that would normally kill things off.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to my friend, Jo Mena. She did her master's thesis on P. gingivalis. That one's for you, Ladybug. She is super smart. I don't know if this is true. I might have to ask Jo if this is true, which is similar to H. pylori, which is the bacteria implicated in ulcers and acid reflux and all that. It produces something called urease, okay? And that actually neutralizes stomach acid as well.
Interesting.
P. gingivalis can be found in oral samples. As long as it's not out of control, it's not necessarily an issue. As long as H. pylori is not out of control, it's not necessarily an issue. So there's probably some specific enzyme that is being excreted when you hit a certain number of that bacteria to lower the stomach acid.
Yes.
Which is why we don't want to lower the stomach acid. You don't want to take an acid blocker, see acid blocking episodes and chapter in the book to solve the problem.
So P. gingivalis is go on. Sorry,
Yes.
we're moving forward.
Okay, so P. gingivalis is an invasive type of overgrowth that can happen in the mouth, and it's been implicated in different types of oral cancers and also in colon cancer.
And then it resists the stomach acid, so it can infect the entire digestive tract. The last thing that I would say on that would be that even if the gingivitis is
gum disease,
even if that gum disease is, say, limited to the mouth, and we're not considering anything else, you're still spending your body's immune system resources just to stay at zero. It's like kind of starting the month, starting the day, you're not even really sick, but your body is fighting an infection every single day just to stay normal.
Yes. One of the things when I'm screening patients when they come in is I ask a lot of head and neck questions because, number one, I know that all of that goes into the main circulatory system. It's right between your head and your stomach. So it's you can leach bacteria into your brain. You can leach it into your gut. Mm-hmm. What we want to do is we want to clear up any infection from the neck up. It will prevent you from actually healing. There's so much infection dripping into your lymphatics if you have anything from the neck up.
Get a checkup from the neck up.
Okay, the branding is there.
All right. Now, what I would also say, that actually reminds me of something, and this is something that's going to be true for all of our microbiome content, and that is that when we think of a microbe, we think of that germ, but those little microbes, they're going through metabolic processes just like you and I. So what that means is that bacteria poop.
They do.
I mean, not as such, but they are going to have cellular waste.
Yes.
Now, a lot of times when you are talking about something that's a, quote, bad bacteria, it's not actually the bacteria that's hurting you. It's the waste products produced by those bacteria. So if I have gingivitis or something like that, what I think, Dr. Danny, what you're saying is that it's not just those germs that could be potentially getting in my my circulatory system, et cetera. It's actually those toxic byproducts that are going to be leaching out systemically through my entire body.
And the constant low-grade inflammatory response in the body.
Yes, to that. Yeah. So basically, you've got germ poop.
You've got germ poop.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I didn't see on any of our notes that we're talking about die-off reactions.
We talked about it more. We did talk about it in the antibiotics chapter.
Yeah.
But that can happen.
Sure.
Okay. I think that's it. I think we circled the wagons. And of course, the link, we just picked one quote out of the book. We talked a lot about the link between oral health and cancer and heart disease. And there's so much research on this now. So get your teeth cleaned. Don't avoid it. I could go on. Maybe I need to interview this biological dentist who I follow, and I'll reach out to her. We can interview her on root canals. And
that'd be a fun side.
That'd be a fun one. So
wait, did we just use fun and root canal in the same sentence without a not in between? It's like,
let's be clear. Getting rid of your root canals and having a conversation about it would be a fun quest.
Not getting a root canal. Yeah.
Get the getting of the root canal process.
Yeah, okay. Roots do not need canals.
So we've got a quote. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. That's Proverbs 17:22. God created your body with wisdom and intentional design. Your microbiome isn't just about digestion. It's part of the divine infrastructure that influences your immune system, mood, metabolism, and more. When we nourish it well, our whole body and our whole being flourish. So let's keep that in mind as we go through the next couple episodes on microbiome.
Yeah. We got to make peace with the trillions of germs that live inside of us and figure out how to come up with a win-win with them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye.